Trump's harsh awakening, late-night rants and a presidency under siege. 70 days into his second term, President Donald Trump is confronting an increasingly harsh reality. What once appeared to be a triumphant return to the Oval Office has rapidly deteriorated into a series of political and diplomatic missteps, internal turmoil, and mounting resistance from key allies. According to a report by Jonathan Lemire in The Atlantic, Trump's frustration has reached a boiling point, prompting him to make late-night phone calls to confidants where he vents his anger over unfavorable media coverage and the missteps of his administration. Close aides acknowledge that the president is struggling to maintain his footing, particularly in the wake of the Signalgate scandal and growing opposition within his party over proposed economic policies. A presidency. Stumbling in the face of controversy. The so-called Signalgate debacle has placed the White House in an awkward position. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz mistakenly included The Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, in a confidential Signal chat regarding potential U.S. military action against Houthi rebels in Yemen. This blunder has left Trump seething. While he has refrained from firing Waltz, concerned that doing so might appear as capitulating to the media, he remains deeply unsettled by the fact that such a lapse could occur at all. Compounding his frustrations are setbacks in his foreign policy initiatives. Trump's ambitious attempts to broker peace in Gaza and Ukraine have faltered, with violence surging instead of subsiding. Reports indicate that he had hoped for a swift resolution to these conflicts, but instead, a fragile ceasefire in Gaza has collapsed, and Russian President Vladimir Putin has resisted U.S. proposals for a temporary halt to the fighting in Europe. Frustration over immigration policy and internal criticism. While Trump initially relished the dramatic media coverage of his administration's large-scale deportations of undocumented immigrants to El Salvador, his satisfaction quickly soured. Criticism has emerged even from typically supportive voices within the right-wing media landscape. Commentator Joe Rogan has raised concerns about due process, while conservative firebrand Ann Coulter has openly condemned the arrest of a Columbia University graduate student who had led pro-Palestine protests. The president, who thrives on loyalty, has reportedly taken these critiques personally. Amid these growing tensions, the White House is betting on its upcoming Liberation Day event to reset the administration's narrative and regain public confidence. However, according to one Republican strategist quoted in The Atlantic, the economic fallout of Trump's policies poses a significant risk. Recessions and inflation are politically devastating for any president. Trump is risking both with his trade wars, so it's understandably making his allies extremely nervous. A White House in crisis mode. As the challenges mount, Trump's irritation is becoming increasingly evident. His late-night calls, once reserved for close allies, have become more frequent and filled with exasperation over his administration's stumbles. The president, who entered his second term expecting unwavering support, is now realizing that even his closest allies are questioning his decisions. The days ahead will prove critical for the administration. Whether Trump can regain control of his political narrative or whether these challenges will continue to erode his standing remains to be seen. One thing, however, is clear. The second-term honeymoon is over, and the road ahead looks anything but smooth.